Okay, welcome everyone. Go ahead and I'm so happy to see all your faces. Oh my goddess. So go ahead and if you don't have a pen and paper, you're gonna need one of those. And gonna want water because this is the season that we're stepping in today. Winter, the element is water. And go ahead and write in the chat, just take a moment and notice how you're feeling and be honest and share that in the chat. Today I'm feeling there's a lot of anticipation. I have a lot of energy today. So that's really exciting because it's the last couple of weeks have been a little rough. So all right, Megan is feeling fairly exhausted. Erin is feeling cranky and has a headache. I love it. I appreciate the honesty. It's such a beautiful, beautiful gift to yourself and to others to share right where you are. I'm going to go ahead. If you have sage or essential oils or incense, I always like to get started with anchoring in with some kind of smell, bringing in as many senses as possible. Amy's whirlwind of changes, but grounded. All right, whirlwind, grounded in a whirlwind. That sounds fascinating. I love that. We're going to do a little cyber smudge here. And I really invite you to get super comfortable. Today, the name of the game is rest. So today, I want to invite you to notice as often as possible when you're feeling tense or tight, or you feel this need to do, or like, right, that anxiety, the stress response kicking in. Just be aware of it. Feels like the eye of the storm of creation. Ooh, that's beautiful. That's it. When you said whirlwind but grounded, I was like, that is like the eye of the storm. That's exactly what I pictured. In what was that movie? Oh, they just remade it with all the tornadoes.
Sure.
I was like, oh yeah, just standing right there in the center. Twister. Yes, thank you. So just receive the cyber smudging. Okay. I'm going to share. This is the grid that I made this morning in my meditation, calling in the energy of the winter solstice, the element water, and I would invite you to just sit with this grid for a moment and allow whatever thoughts and feelings show up for you. And when it feels right, I invite you to write in the chat what popped up for you, whether visually, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, what sense did it show up for you? Here in Sacred Intuition Society, we're always trying to articulate how is our intuition speaking to and through us. And it typically works through our five senses. We see something, we just know something. There's a scent and just knowing with the nose. We hear something, we want to say something, or we feel something in our bodies. And so if you can articulate, that's what we're practicing. Let's see, Lana is feeling excited, mourning, tired, anxious, confused, renewed, many things. I love it. Just the human experience, all of it. Leaves falling to the ground, resting and being transformed into fertilizer for the next phase or cycle of life. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Megan notices the feeling of death with the skeleton figure and noticing the snowflake, which feels like new, white, crisp rebirth. Ooh, dualities. And one's, they're polar opposites of each other. Beautiful awareness. Thank you for sharing.
Jenny, is there any way to get that image of the grid bigger?
And is it super teeny?
I mean, it's not tiny, tiny. I'm just like, I want to see
Is that bigger?
the deep a
Did
little
that
bit,
work?
a little bit.
Okay. Let's see. What happened? Where'd it go?
Oh, it's still there.
Okay, cool. It says it's paused. That is so funny. You guys can see it still.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll just go with it here. Water is like the name of water is going with the flow. So we're going to go ahead and anchor in and call in any guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, and ascended masters that you would like to call in. I invite you to do that in your own mind or heart, or make sure you're on mute and just call it out. And I invite you to get really, really heavy, really, really rested and like limp noodle wherever you are. Relax and relax some more and relax even more. With every exhale, sinking deeper and deeper into your body and into the earth, into this moment. Release any thoughts, judgments, opinions, and expectations, and allow them to just, as they pop up, because they will, just allow them to be thoughts, judgments, opinions, and expectations of the mind. But you don't have to attach to them. And come back to the breath, come back to the body in this moment, and relax, and relax, and relax. And imagine above you this portal opening right above your head, and this shower of light starts to pour down over and around you, washing off your aura, washing off the top of your body. And then it starts to go in through the crack in the head, through the pineal gland, goes in through the eyes and the ears and the nose and the mouth, goes in through all the pores of the body and every portal or chakra point. This water just starts to pour down over, around, and through you. Washing, purifying, cleansing, and clearing. I'm going to repeat the prayer in Sophia Code, the Divine Feminine, Christ Feminine prayer. If you'd like to repeat it with me, you're welcome to. I'm going to repeat it 3 times. Divine Mother of all life, take me to that place deep within your womb where I can know nothing and be reborn anew. Divine Mother of all life, take me to that place deep within your womb where I can know no thing and be reborn anew. Divine Mother of all life, take me to that place deep within your womb where I can know nothing and be reborn anew. And taking a moment in this space of nothingness, no thingness, just simply ask the question and then allow the answer to arise without trying. Just witness and allow it to arise however it arises. And the question is, what is my intuition guiding me to know about rest? And when the answer arises for you, I invite you to type it in the chat. Beautiful. Megan says, it is essential. It is powerful. What bubbled up for me was be here now. Lana, it's about emptying out, not filling myself up. Rachel, it's intentional. Jen, rest is fuel for growth.
There's stillness.
Josie, rest. You need a lot more. Rest in moments you can. Oh my gosh, yes. I relate to that. Also, Erin, it's as important as activity. Ooh. Oh, I love this.
Observe stillness, accepting.
Yes. Amy, were you saying something? Oh, Amy, observe stillness, accepting what is. Ooh, so beautiful. Now, I do invite everyone to turn their screen on. And here's why. In the Sacred Intuition Society, a big part of what we're practicing is it is safe for me to be seen. It is safe for me to be seen in my authenticity, in my realness, being vulnerable of this is where I am right now, and it's okay. So I know it may be a big stretch for some of you, and I invite you to breathe in and just notice the sensations that are showing up. And know that you are safe here, and it is safe to be seen, experiencing, and expressing rest, stillness. All of these things that you guys have shared I've written down in some of the things that I want to teach today. So this is what I really love about the Sacred Intuition Society and teaching people how to tune into their intuition is that that is your inner guiding system, that your intuition trumps everything and everyone. What anybody says or does, you're true for you. And I invite you to listen to that. Whatever I say today, I invite you to open, to receive, and then discern for yourself. No, thanks, not for me. Or like, I don't know about this one. I'm going to set it on the shelf and maybe think about it. Or like, oh, yeah, that feels true for me. And there's no judgment on my end because my goal, my job is for you to learn how to be confident in knowing your truth and doing that thing, honoring your inner knowing, and however that shows up for you. So today, a lot of the stuff that I'll be going over comes from the 5 element solution. In traditional Chinese medicine, the seasons go through these cycles, and each cycle, each season is a different element. And today, as we enter winter, happy winter, everyone, we're in water. Water, water, water. Um, okay, so water in traditional Chinese medicine is the beginning and the end. It is birth. We start in the womb in utero in water, and we burst forth with this bursting of the waters, and then we come into life and we get to experience the flow of life's ups and downs, highs and lows. And then when we die, we go back to the earth, and water is one of the big things that we decompose and release back into the earth is the water. And then the cycle starts over again. So this is the wheel of samsara, life, death, and rebirth. And it's getting really comfortable with learning to die before we actually die. And in philosophy, that is a really beautiful concept that can help ease a lot of pain and suffering and depression, is like discovering that it's okay to die before we die. Like being seen on a screen, we won't die, even if we're uncomfortable, right? Being seen crying in front of somebody that we feel uncomfortable crying in front of, we're not going to die. Doing the hard thing and facing it with, you know, honesty, vulnerability, and surrender. Surrender is a really big part of the element of water. I used to be a lifeguard and a swim instructor, and teaching kids to float on their back, even adults. I taught adults how to swim. Teaching kids and adults how to float on their back was always one of the scariest things, because you can't see and you really have to learn how to trust. And there is one thing that is so true with everyone that was learning how to float, is that when you're tight and you're tense, you sink. Your body will sink in the water. But if you can just totally relax and surrender and limp noodle, your body will float in the water. And so I invite you to sit with, how am I entering into this wintry season? How am I entering into this water? Am I tense? Am I tight? Am I sinking? Or how can I relax a little bit more and surrender and just trust that the universe has got me? Like when you're laying down on the ground, like, right, you're rock bottom, let's say, and you're laying on the ground, the universe still has you. There's no like portal that opens up and you're just free falling into space. You're always being held and supported by the universe. And one of the biggest messages and lessons that water teaches us is trust, surrender, and trust. And learning to just go with the flow, that the water will take you wherever you need to go. So on your piece of paper, take it and draw a line down the middle. Now, I'm going to be sharing a couple of suggestions about how we can incorporate rest in our everyday life. A lot of times we think rest has to be like, oh, I got to go to, do a spa, I got to get a pedicure, I got to, do the candles and salts and essential oils and all the things in a tub. And like sometimes, like, ain't nobody got time for that, right? Like, we live busy lives, and especially during the holidays, when it is the proclaimed busiest time of the year. And we go, 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 and we have to-do lists that are a mile long, and there's expectations and obligations on top of, additional to our regular everyday life stuff. And it can feel so overwhelming. And when I learned about seasons and cycles, I was just like, why in the world are we doing a New Year's in the middle of winter when we're not supposed to be doing? We're literally supposed to be hibernating. We are supposed to be resting. And it's like, no wonder 90% of people fail within the first week of their New Year's resolutions. It is not the energy. Naturally, we are not designed to be doing anything during this season. We are designed to rest. And before technology and the invention of light and electricity, which is so beautiful because it's bringing all of us together from all different places right now here. And so it's so beautiful and I'm grateful for it. The shadow side is that we can burn the candle at both ends because we just keep that light on. We got our phones that are always turned on. We've got music that's always going, or a TV, or a podcast, or a book, or something that's always going and distracting us. Mm. So, as I share some simple steps, simple things that you can start to incorporate in your day to day life, I invite you to, on the top left, write the positive sign, and the top right, the negative sign. And notice as I'm talking about these things, there's a couple of ways you can do this. And so, in the name of rest, I'm going to give you options, and then you pick the one that you feel you have energy for today, and know that that's enough because you are enough right where you are. So, minimum is I'm just going to tally when I feel positive about this thing and write the thing I'm talking about so you know, and negative when I feel negative about this thing. That's the minimum. The if you can go, the next step would be writing what the positive sensation was or thought, or what the negative sensation or thought was. And that's all I'm gonna like that, take those however you want. Um, and so we're just, and right here, this is just witnessing and allowing. So, like, notice when the judgment starts creeping in, just say, like, thanks, judgment. And we're just going to just go back to witnessing and allowing because Jenny says it's okay. It's okay that I have these. And maybe if it's a negative judgment, there's a negative. If it's positive judgment, write it, tab it in the positive. So, the very first thing, and this could just be its own whole thing, is meditation. Meditation, meditation, meditation. Now, we all know at this point in time, I'm pretty sure we as a society know how important meditation is. We've all heard the benefits of how meditation can help us feel better and have more energy. So I'm not going to belabor that. What I'm going to do is share a personal story that really can drive home how meditation can help with rest. So there's this old Zen cone that makes me giggle every time I hear it because I'm like, ooh, that is a sick burn. You Zen monks are twisted a little bit, a little mean, but in a like, cheeky way. But the Zen cone goes like this. Everyone should meditate for at least 20 minutes a day. Unless you don't have time, then you should meditate for an hour. Yeah, if you don't have time to sit with yourself for 20 minutes, you probably really I'm going to tell you, ought to sit for an hour to reprioritize yourself in your life. So when I got home from the Vipassana, I had already had a very solid meditation practice. In fact, in the Sacred Intuition Society, Monday through Friday, I do meditate live if you want to join me, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Mountain Time. And I don't guide the meditation. You come and meditate however your intuition directs. It's not dictated. But there's this, we know that when we do things together in groups, we're way more likely to do them than if we're trying to just do it on our own. Like if someone expects you to be there, at a certain time, you're way more likely to show up to the gym, to having a diet buddy, and like keeping accountability. So meditation is really, really powerful. When I came home from the Vipassana, they invited us to meditate for an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. And I was like, oh man, this is a lot because they want me to meditate their specific way and I still want to do mine, so that's 3 hours of meditation now. And I'm just like, okay, okay. And since then I've learned to I don't have to always follow everybody's rules. I'm going to do it my way. Um, so I've since changed this, but I was doing at least an hour in the morning and an hour at night. And I found that my days expanded exponentially. Like I was having multiple days within a single day. Like just time was just expanding like crazy. There was one Saturday that was a whole week. I got a whole week's worth of stuff done in one Saturday. And I meditated. I went and saw a 3 hour movie. And there were multiple times within that where I kind of sat around and twiddled my thumbs and was like, well, I mean, I've done everything I was going to do today. And what now what? And then it was like, oh, well, I've done everything I was going to do the next 2 days. Well, now what? I've done everything. And time just has expanded. And this is one of those phenomenons with meditation that science cannot prove. It really can't prove this effect. But when you give yourself at least 20 minutes of meditation in the morning, your day is going to go way better. And by way better, I don't mean it's going to be perfect. I mean, even when it is rough, you're not going to be as judgmental or hard on yourself. You're not going to slip into that shame spiral and stay on that ride for as long as you normally do. You'll catch yourself sooner. You'll hop off. You'll give yourself compassion and grace. And it's still going to be messy. Like this is not like the fix all. There's this I feel like there's this myth that enlightenment means everything's perfect and I have no more problems anymore. And it's just not. It means that I'm connected to my light. And even in the dark moments, I'm still connected to my light. I know who I am. And that's just embracing the human experience. So, meditation, whatever that looks like for you, I would suggest a minimum of 20 minutes consecutive every day, just because that's what the Zen monks say. There's also new studies, psychological and scientific studies, that say it takes at least 15 minutes for our brain doing a single task to actually get into the flow of that task. It takes 15 minutes for our brain to get into something and stay in that flow state. So if you do at least 15 minutes of meditation, then you add five, you got at least five where you're really in that theta, beautiful, subconscious, unconscious, zened out stage, even if you feel like every three breaths, you're going back to the breath, back to the breath, back to the breath. But that's the science behind it. And so learning to have that practice. And if you have any questions about anything I'm saying, just go ahead and post them in the chat or raise your Zoom hand so I can answer those. Okay, the next suggestion is breathing. And I know this one's probably like, duh, I am breathing, Jenny. Like, I can't not breathe. And yes, that is so beautiful and true. Our breath, I personally believe, is the quickest path to getting in the present moment. We can't breathe for the past. We can't breathe for the future. We only have this breath right now. And so when you bring your awareness consciously to the breath that's happening, the inflow and the out, and you don't even have to change it or do anything fancy, just witnessing it and being aware of it automatically brings you in the present moment. And there's a lot of things that can happen here. We will step out of fight or flight because when we're living in the past, shoulda, coulda, woulda on ourselves, there's this sense of heaviness and depression. When we're living in the future, what ifing ourselves to death, future tripping, we're anxious. We're in so much anxiety. And our body's physiological response, our body doesn't know reality from imagination. And there's a lot of science behind this. So if you are thinking about the past, your body's like, I think we're in the past, but it's confused because it only knows how to live now. So automatically you're out of alignment and your body starts to go in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. You're in the future, same thing. Our body's like confused because it feels like we're doing this thing, but it's not really happening. And so we're in this fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And so to regulate the nervous system, bring your awareness to the breath. That's minimum. if you want to take it to the next level, notice the exhale and maybe make the exhale longer than the inhale. Just a little bit longer. It doesn't have to be very long. But if you're also in like this heightened state of anxiety or you're in a shame spiral, you want to blow all your air out and empty all of the air out before you inhale. Okay. And we think we're done way before we're actually done. Our lungs, there's usually 2/3 of the bottom of our lungs. We don't breathe deep enough that this air, the oxygen, actually circulates in the bottom 2/3 of, or 1/3, the bottom 1/3 of our lung. We just, on average, use 2/3 of our lung capacity in irregular breathing. So by exhaling, and just go ahead and do it right now, just exhale all of your air out. And when you think you're done, keep going. And then when you think you're done again, see if you can keep going by pushing your belly button in. Open your mouth, stick your tongue out, and see if you can open up for even more air to come out. And when you just really don't, you just like, I really have nothing left, then inhale. And by releasing, exhaling, and having the exhale longer than the inhale, you start to regulate your nervous system. We're no longer in this upper chest hyperventilation, like we're like, oh, okay. And try to imagine allowing the shoulders to stop being earrings for a little bit too. Like, relax the shoulders. That was another really fascinating thing that I learned in the Vipassana was that specifically my right shoulder, every 3 to 5 breaths, it was creeping up to my ear. And it was like, oh, relax. Oh, relax. And I thought like, oh my gosh, okay, the first couple of days, all right, that's interesting. I'm noticing, I'm aware. And then the next couple of days, I'm like, dude, why is this still happening? And then by the end, I was like, for real? How long have I been living with this? Because I thought, oh, by the end of 10 days, I'll be like so zenned out and relaxed. But still, in my meditation this morning, this shoulder was creeping up. And so that just what I can tell by that is that this is a response that my body has to stress. And I was not aware of it. How long? And then like talk to my therapist, not my therapist, my massage therapist and my chiropractor, how often they're fixing this shoulder, these joints and lungs and like, oh, relax. And so for me, that's a big awareness of just like witnessing this is how long have I been carrying stress here? And it's okay. We're just going to let it go. And then my left butt cheek. This is the next one is like, you guys relax your ass, relax your pelvic floor. Like literally imagine your pelvic floor as a lotus flower and it's just blossoming open and try to settle even deeper into your hips and allow the hips to open up. So relax your ass is the next step. And this one came to me, Yin on Fire. There was this cute couple, Cami and Shelby, and they were telling this funny story. And they were like, all right, we want everyone to take this, sit up nice and tall and take a couple of nice, big, deep breaths. And on your next exhale, relax your ass. And I had no idea that I was such a tight ass. I was so clenched, both cheeks, and I had this perfect spine, and everything was tight. And it was like, oh, like I'm a yoga teacher. I've been teaching meditation for almost 2 decades. And I can be perfect. I can do it just perfect. And I'm going to hold this core and engage everything and the Mula Bandha activate. Um, and it was like, oh my God, I had no idea how tight I was. And then on top of that, when things come in multiples, it's like, all right, I'm paying attention. Well, I went to, um, a pelvic floor. I'm seeing, why is this hard? I'm a little embarrassed to say this, you guys, but I shouldn't be. Here, I go see a pelvic floor physical therapist, and I think everybody needs to, not just women, men also, because everybody that has trauma holds it in their pelvic floor. Tight ass. And so my pelvic floor physical therapist, I have a prolapsed uterus, and she's like, yeah, you're just too tight. And there's a little part of me that's like, Hey, babe, I'm so tight. Aren't you so lucky? But like, that is why I have this prolapsed uterus. And so learning to relax. And it's counter to everything I had been taught and trained since I learned about yoga and the Mula Bandha. And even before that, having kids and Kegels. And I remember being taught that, okay, every time you're at a red light, Kegel and, flex that pelvic floor, get those good pelvic floor muscles, activate that pelvic floor. And I'd Kegel, Kegel, Kegel. And then when I learned about yoga and the Mula Bandha, I was like, oh yeah, Kegel, Kegel, Kegel. And then crystals and yoni eggs. I was like, oh, yeah, it's so awesome. I got these yoni eggs and I'm Kegeling and I'm just like, whoa, my yoni's going to be so flexed. And it's causing problems. I'm too tight. And now every time I'm at a red light, I'm like, relax your ass, Jenny, relax your ass. And I have no idea how tight and tense I am. Even last night, playing a game with my love, I'm like, oh my God, I am squeezing my ass so tight right now. Relax, Jenny. You're safe. It's okay. You're safe. We're just playing a game. You can relax. But watching a movie, reading in bed, there's just this tenseness and tightness that is happening, and it's chronic because we have been raised in a society that our worth is based on our what we produce. And so we always have to be doing something. Go and do. Please perform, perfect, produce to prove your worth. This is the society that we live in right now. And water element is like, nope, you're not doing none of that. You need to float. And remember when I was talking earlier about floating in water, if you're squeezing, you don't float, you sink. You really have to relax. And so noticing just when you're checking in with your breath, I always like to habit stack. When you're checking in with your breath, notice where your body's tight and tense. And can you relax with the exhale? Relax. Maybe your forehead's up, and you're just like, or you're even squinched and you're focusing so hard. I find myself doing that often. I'm in this Dharma Artist Collective, and we do these 90-minute focused sprints together, and we're on Zoom, and I'll be on my computer working on my book or something, and I'll like look up and see my face, and I'm like, and my shoulders are up here, and I'm like, oh, hey, it's okay, we can relax. Like, let's have fun while we create. It doesn't have to be so tense. So when you're checking your breath, just notice, check in with the body. Oh, where can I release this tension? How can I just relax and surrender? All right, the next tip is slow down, whatever you're doing. And I'm going to try to slow down my speech because I get so excited and I talk really fast. But this could be one of the most simple steps that you can incorporate every day in every act that you're doing. Slow down when you're brushing your teeth. So, and just, or even multitasking. Try to like, can you just not multitask here? In this one moment, I'm just going to focus on this one thing. Um, there's so many studies and researches on like how multitasking is damaging our attentional and intentional parts of our brain, that we literally can't focus. Our focus is so fractured. And then we wonder why we're so frustrated when we've spent all day doing a little bit of all of these things, but none of them are done. I'm just going to do 10 minutes of focus on this one thing, and I'm going to do it slow and intentional. I'm going to be with my breath, and I'm going to notice the sensations as I'm brushing my teeth, as I'm washing my face, as I'm washing my hands or the dishes, as I'm walking from my bathroom to the kitchen. This one is a beautiful lesson that I learned by one of my colleagues, I guess, Laurel Houston. She was like, slow down. It's like, slow down when you walk and allow the hips to actually sway. So the sacral chakra is in our hips, and this is the water element in our body, the womb. And our hips are designed to sway and flow as we walk and move. But when you're in a rush, right? And so when I came home from a retreat with her in Costa Rica, I just started to notice how I was walking. literally. And I was in Costco and I'm like, why am I racing? Who am I racing? Is there like a prize for getting through Costco the fastest? There's not. If you're wondering, I haven't found one yet. Right? And it's like I know it's stressful. I know there's a lot of sensations that are happening, but it was like, okay, Jenny, I was like, slow down and allow the hips to sway. And then this old 90s country song came to me. I need to look up to see who sings it. If you guys know, put it in the chat. And it goes like this. I'm in a hurry to get things done. Oh, I rush and rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. And that slow down is also like, okay, well, I'm going to take it. It always happens when I notice I'm rushing and I stop and pause. There's naturally a sigh. Oh, releasing the breath, and I release the shoulders. And it's like, okay, Jenny, be here now with this breath. And then just allow the hips to sway as I move. And it's been like it's brought back a level of sensuality that I hadn't been connected to with myself. As a woman in this day and age right now, there and the feminine movement, which has brought so many really beautiful things, we also are trying to be like men and go and do and go and do and get the shit done. Alabama, thank you, Sherry. Um, and so we just like do, and we just go, and our little hips don't move anymore. And so the water is not allowed to flow in our body. And so when I started to slow down and allow my hips to flow while I walked, not only did I feel like it's so hot right now, whoever's behind me is so lucky. I should put a Venmo sign on my back and be like, "You're welcome." This is so good. But I just really stepped into that feminine essence and sensuality. Water is feminine. Water is this deep well of intuition. And men have access to this. And it is them tapping into their feminine energy. And intuition is inherently feminine as well. That's why there's the wise women, because they have this deep well of connection to that womb space, that water and well of wisdom within that can bubble up. And it can bubble up in men as well. And they're the medicine men, the ones that are connected to this feminine essence within them. They are the medicine men, the male shamans. This has nothing to do with gender, feminine and masculine. It's the yin and yang that is in each of us. And water is feminine, it is nurturing. Just like it seems like out in nature right now, not a lot is happening, right? All of the leaves have fallen, all of the seeds have fallen. There's been a blanket of snow. Right now, there's no snow for us, but there's been this blanket of snow, and everything is underground, and it is literally saturated with water, just ripe nutrients, minerals. And it's just like the acorn seed is just soaking up all of this delicious nutrients, and it's just resting. It doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't do anything. It just receives the nutrients and the nurturing of this water so that when spring comes, which is the elemental new year, Aries, the beginning of the zodiac season, is would. And that's when we actually make action happen. That's when I suggest setting New Year's resolutions. March, spring, wood energy, because that's penetrating. And then the acorn seed starts to shoot sprouts and roots down to the earth to keep getting nutrients, and it starts to send a sprout up to the sky. And we'll do a ceremony in spring and talk about wood energy then. But right now, your job is to soak up all the nutrients, all of the lessons that you have learned over this last year. Everything that life has brought to you, the good, the bad, the ugly, and just allow all of it to soak in this beautiful human experience so that you can feel refreshed and replenished for when spring comes and it's time to take action. So, really giving yourself permission to rest whenever you can. One of the other suggestions is learning and practicing no as a complete sentence. So just go ahead and I want you to just say no, right now. I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to justify. I typically throw in a no thanks or oh no thank you. But you no can be a full sentence, period, stop. So just practice saying no. Something as somebody asks you if you can help out with, the family thing or the church thing or the community thing or the work thing, and just listen to your body. And if your body says no, you can just say no. It's totally okay to say no. How are we doing on the positive negatives? Are you guys still remembering to tab those positive and negatives? Okay, I'm gonna read a couple more here. So one suggestion that this book makes is scheduling in at least 1 hour of downtime every day. Now I'm going to list off the things that are not downtime. Doom scrolling on your phone is not downtime. you know, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, whatever, you're just mindlessly scrolling. Your body is not resting. You're still aggravating your fight or flight nervous system. The blue screen, the colors, there's just a whole bunch of science that goes with it, not only the energy of the phone. Um, let's see. Zoning out in front of the TV, not downtime. Spacing out while playing computer games or even phone games. Catching up with email, doing mindless housework. Okay, not downtime. That is not downtime. What they suggest in here, and we talked about this one, and not everybody has this ability every day, but a luxurious soak in the tub, or even just a shower by yourself. You know, like, oh, I'm just going to go sit in the shower for a moment by myself. This is one of my favorites for water element is daydreaming. And daydreaming is just allowing your mind to wander without judgment or attachment, without making plans, without doing anything, just allowing. Like just because you have this like fantasy of running away with the pool boy to the Bahamas and you just allow your mind to just flitter into that fantasy doesn't mean you're going to do it. Right? Same with like as you're daydreaming and you come up with a really cool blog post idea or an art project or, something that you're going to implement with the kids and the family. Like that cool. You can like get carried away with that, but you don't need to plan. You don't need to itemize or prioritize. Just allow yourself to get lost in the what ifs, right? This could be fun. Massage or spa treatment, always really beautiful, but who really has time or money to do that every single day? So, like self massage, right? Get a massager out or lay on a massage table or sound table or um, sit in meditation in your favorite room or go drive somewhere where it's nice, a beautiful view and just watch the birds and the bugs and nature. Losing yourself in a novel or a fictional movie, something that's just totally fantastical and fun, and just allow yourself to get sucked into the characters and the storyline. Sleeping late, or just like Megan, I love you, just laying in bed. Like I'm here, but I'm still in bed. Just allowing yourself to be resting wherever. I do a lot of my work in my bed in the winter. I've got a little TV tray and I set it up and I'm in bed and I got all the pillows propped around me and I'm like, I'm just gonna do a little work right here. Anything that makes every cell in your body do this. Ah. And everybody make that noise right now. Ah. Yeah. And I want you to take a moment to think and write down in the chat, what are some of those things that has that effect on your body? So we can learn from each other. Because, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that totally does that for me. Sex is a real big one for me. I love me a good orgasm. Now, oh yeah. So, in the afterglow of that, eating really yummy food. Oh, yeah. So good. Being in nature. Oh, yes. Mm. Also, even just saying ah actually vibrates the nerve endings in your throat that send a signal to the brain that sends a signal to the rest of your body that says, "Hey, relax. We're going to jump out of fight and flight and we're going to jump into rest and digest." And it's fascinating to me that a lot of the main deities that are worshipped around our culture have the ah sound in them. God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, Yeshua, Yahweh, whatever way you want to say his name, except for Jesus. That one doesn't have ah in it. So interesting. Um, Green Tara, Shiva, Shakti, um, Durga, Inanna. Ah is in so many deities' names. And when we chant or pray to them and we say these names out loud, of course we start to feel good because we're like literally getting out of fight and flight and into rest and digest. Ooh, Erin, beautiful, deep conversation with good friends. Oh, yeah. I feel that. Mm. Yoga really makes my body feel just a gentle, slow, just stretching, right? Feels Tai Chi, Qigong during winter season. We're not meant, and this is why a lot of New Year's resolutions fail. Our bodies are literally not designed to go to the gym every day and do, do the thing. They're meant to slow down. So exercises like Tai Chi, Qigong, um, yin or restorative yoga, just gentle stretching, intuitive based movement, even ecstatic dance. Just getting in, allowing, putting some music on that feels soft and flowy, and just allow your body to rock to the sound can be really powerful. Um, okay. Okay, so that the suggestion is an hour a day, but like, oh, could you at least schedule in an hour a week, right? An hour a week just to yourself to just be, no expectations. Um, so some things that can help with bringing in more water into your surroundings that can help balance out your natural water energy. Drink more water, you guys. It's hard because it's winter and it's cold and we don't want to drink cold drinks. So drink it warm. Who says it has to be cold? I really love like teas that are herbal, not caffeinated. So right now, my favorite beverage is wassail, and it is a blend of a couple of spice and like vitamin C immune teas with orange juice. And this is like, I'm drinking this all day long. Or I'll put my water in a large thermos warm with a squirt of lemon, and I'll sip on that all day long. And we get so dehydrated in the winter because we're not, going and doing so much. We're not active, we're not hot and sweaty. We just don't think to drink. And so a lot of the times the depression, the seasonal affective disorder, one of the causes is dehydration. So drinking more water. I invite you to take a water break if you haven't had any water since we've been going, because we've been going for 40 minutes. And every 30 minutes, you need to be hydrating yourself. If you need help with that, set an alarm on your phone every 30 minutes. Oh, yep, am I drinking my water? Eat more soups during the season. Again, a very watery thing, but they're also incredibly nourishing, especially like the bone broths. If you're not vegetarian or vegan, the bone broths are so full of minerals and such good stuff for you. And that's why grandma's chicken noodle soup was so healing when you got the cold or flu. You're just like, oh, because it was so nourished with number one, love. It's got a whole bunch of water and vitamins and minerals in it from that chicken broth, the bone broth. Um, so not just chicken broth, but like bone broth, if you can do that. That's, of course, remember there's minimum, like do what you can, right? Because right here, we don't want to add any stressors. So it's like, take what I say and go, okay, I can do that. And I'm going to do that because even though I say 15 to 20 minutes of meditation, if all you can do is 10, good, do it. If all you can do is 5, awesome. If all you can do is 1 minute in meditation, do that. It's better to do 1 minute of meditation than no meditation at all. Or, it's better to drink like one sip of water than no water. It's better to do like one breath than 20 breaths or 30 minutes of breath work, right? Do you see where I'm going here? We have these high, letting go of perfection, you guys. We have these high expectations and we think it's all or nothing. And if I'm not doing it perfect, then what's the point? And we just have to eliminate and eradicate that thought because it is wrecking us and keeping us from realizing a lot of these benefits. And those minutes add up. Um, oh, art. Winter is a really beautiful time to play with art. And if you're like me, a couple of years ago, I was like, I'm not an artist. In school, I wasn't an artist. I never got great. I was like, I did okay with art, but there was always people way better than me, like my brothers, way better at art than me. But like, according to who and what? What's the judge? Who's judging and criticizing here? Art to art's sake. Just art to art's sake. This last year, I had realized like, okay, I am an artist and I do love creating and I just need to let that judge and inner critic part of me go. And so I went and got myself a whole bunch of really nice art supplies. And I came home and I was getting ready to use some of these fancy new and some of them were expensive art supplies. And I had this thought like, oh, maybe I should practice on printer paper first so I don't mess up on this nice stuff. And I felt my inner child just deflate and feel so rejected and shunned and not good enough. And it broke my heart. I was like, oh, honey, okay, you're right. And I'm going to let you do whatever you want. And so I stepped into little Jenny and I let her do whatever she wanted. And you know what she wanted to do? She wanted to draw her name in bubble letters. So I got the fancy new pens and I got the fancy new paper and I just let her pick the colors and do the doodles. And I just played and had this awareness that has really served me the last couple of years that whenever whatever you do is good enough because you are good enough. I'm going to say that again. Whatever you do is good enough simply because you are enough. That's it. So taking one breath and being aware of one breath is enough because you're doing it, and that is enough. Sitting in meditation for 1 minute is enough because you are enough. Whatever you create, allow just to play, allow it to flow. Water element, right? So just allow the artistic vision, doodle, just create whatever shows up, allow it to show up without judgment or criticism. Water elements. Surround yourself with water, pictures of water, the colors of water, the water symbols. I've got on my grid, there was a seashell and the blue lotus oil. Those are blue lotus. Lotuses float on the water, right? No mud, no lotus, but it's anchored down in the ground. And then seashells. Today I'm wearing my crystal that's in hydro. It has water in it. And then my this is my ankh of life. That is the womb of no thing. So there's the womb, there's the ovaries, and there's the vaginal shaft or canal, whatever, shaft canal. So, I wearing things that make you think and feel of water. So surrounding yourself with water elements or symbols that make you think of water. The goddess card that I pulled, which every time you guys I pull cards, I'm always just like, how does this work? It just like scientifically, it doesn't make any sense other than like attracts like and vibrations are, match. And I'm having a thought and the intention of what do I need to know about winter solstice and the element water as I'm shuffling the cards. And then I pull a card and it is the lady of the lake. Like, no mistake. It just happens. And because I had the thought, and the thought is a vibration, and then the card matches the vibration, my fingers naturally drawn to that vibration that matches the thoughts and intention in my head. And if you want to play more with this concept, Monday through Friday in the Sacred Intuition Society, we do daily tune-ins, tarot tune-ins, where we pull a card and we test our intuition. What does that card mean to me? What is the message for me? Without looking at the book, without looking at what the actual message is. And at some point you can look if you want, but we invite you to just tune in to your intuition. What does the card mean for you? And then when we share, it is so fun to find out that there's some very similar things that are showing up, and then some of them are very different. And it's just a really fun practice that we love. And it is, I mean, intuition is water. Water comes from this intuition. Scrying is also a really fun activity to do if you want to like dive a little bit deeper. Reflection, looking in the mirror or having a bowl of water that is still that you sit and you just look at. And as a meditation, and you just hold this bowl of water. I wouldn't hold it because I would move, but like energetically, you're just, that's where your intention is looking into either the mirror or a bowl of water and allowing whatever is being reflected in that, in your mind, in your heart, showing up for you is a really fun, beautiful practice. Okay. So that's all I'm going to share for now. That was a lot. And I really want to remind you that I want you to take what feels good for you, let go of what doesn't, sit on the shelf what you're unsure about to revisit later. And whether you toss it or pull it in, it doesn't matter. And then receive what feels best for you. So I want you to look at your positive and negative columns and just aware of which one is more full. And that just all that's telling you is where the majority of your energy is right now in this moment. And without judgment, with compassion, with equanimity, allowing, right? We're surrendering to what is, surrendering to what is, surrendering to what is. And I invite you to pick one thing on that list that you want to start incorporating into your day and share it in the chat. For me, I commit out loud right now to drinking a full glass of lemon water before my coffee. It's a habit that I go in and out of every year. And I'm currently out of it. So back to committing to drinking a glass of lemon water before my coffee every day. Let's see. Jen, absolutely beautiful, most definitely helpful in validating the amount of rest I've been feeling I needed lately. Thank you for the safe space and happy solstice. Oh, love you, Jen. Okay, so what's the one thing? And that's like the basic. If you want to take it to the next level, are you going to give yourself a minimum, like just minimum? This is all I'm going to do. And if I reach this, awesome. But like just minimum, I'm going to do this. Like for me, if I get 3 days a week of where I drink my lemon water before my coffee, I'm going to call myself a winner. Okay, Megan, taking multiple breaks in the day to take big, deep breaths, slow down. Oh, I love that. Erin, drink warm water tea throughout the day. Oh, yes. Josie, need to stop and breathe more daily. Okay, so now how are you going to implement them? So just speaking them is a step, and it is a beautiful step. Now, for like Megan and Josie, are you going to set alarms in your phone? Are you going to have, what's your cue? Like for me, right now, the relax my ass is like red lights, right? Whenever I'm at a red light, I'm going to try to relax my ass, right? And that's really helped me. So, what is the trigger that's going to remind you to stop and focus on your breath? Megan, to intentionally breathe. I love it. That's so beautiful. Okay, beautiful. And what is um uh When I feel anxiety creeping up or fear. Okay. When you catch yourself, the moment you catch yourself in anxiety or fear, you're going to breathe and stop and go slow. At lights too. Okay, perfect. I love it. So, and that's right, just like minimum, right? We're just doing the minimum. There's all the permission energy right now I'm giving you to just be average, everybody. Just be average. You don't have to be exceptional, just average. Just average. Woohoo! I remember I was going to this Recovery International program, and it is for mental health recovery. And they have these quotes or mantras, they call them spots. And one of them is like do an average job or something like that. And it always made me mad. And I was like, no, I didn't come here to be average. I came here to be exceptional. I did not realize how that was wreaking havoc on my nervous system of always trying to be the best, always trying to be exceptional. And I was never giving myself a break. And I was always stressed and always overwhelmed and frustrated, so frustrated because my whatever I was doing never came out the way I thought it would in my mind. Never. Because our imaginations are amazing, right? They're unlimited, but we live in this finite, material world that we have to bring it into. And it's just very rare that what we see up here in Spirit Nation and inspiration actually births as that thing. And I wasn't having compassion or equanimity with myself. And so, like the permission to be average. Oh, I'm taking it. I remember Brene Brown when it was she talks about the shitty first draft of doing something. And again, when I first heard about this, I was like, that is so dumb. That is not like that is so against everything that I have taught to be perfection, right? We got to be like Jesus. Come follow me. The Savior says, and we got to be perfect like Jesus or we're going to hell. And so I was putting so much pressure and stress on myself. And it was so when Brene Brown was like, hey, just do the shitty first draft. Just get what's in here out on paper. And whether that is a work project, something with your kids or your spouse or with your physical or mental health, whatever that is happening in here, just put it down of your idea, the intuition, the inspiration that came to you. Just put it down as a shitty first draft. And sometimes that's enough. In fact, if you go to my YouTube channel, I'm really nervous to admit this, um, but here's me being vulnerable. I in this Dharma Artist Collective, we do these zodiac games. And every zodiac season, there's a challenge to share our art with a theme. And Sagittarius season was sharing our dream. And I wasn't going to participate because part of the time I was Vipassana, and then the integration has just like wrecked me. I really did not expect it to take this much of a toll on my life. And I'm trying to have compassion with myself for it, but I gave myself permission to not enter. And one morning in a Dharma sprint, a poem came to me, and I just wrote it down. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Maybe I will enter the Sagittarius games. And um, and then I kind of played with the poem for a couple of days. I was like, some of these don't feel right. I'd read them out loud and adjust. So I was editing the poem. But one night I was sitting here and I was feeling really antsy. And I had caught myself doom scrolling. And I was like, put that down. You don't like, this is not actually I could feel myself that anxiety in shoulders and my ass starting to clench. And I was like, okay, relax. And I asked myself, okay, what is the best way I could be spending my time right now? And my intuition was like, you need to record your dream and submit it. And I was like, oh, instant anxiety, right? My hair didn't look very good that day. It was nighttime. And the light's not as great in here at nighttime. And, I had all of these reasons and excuses. And I was like, okay, Jenny, just go play. Just for a minute, go play. I had just oiled my drums. And so I'm like, let me just wipe them all off and let me just play. Part of my dream is the chant Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu, which is Sanskrit, basically meta. May all sentient beings be happy and free. So I'm playing with my drums, and then all of a sudden, all these ideas start flooding to me. So I set my phone up and I hit record and I start reading my poem and just improvising what shows up for me. And and then I sat on that for like 4 days and I'm like, I really should edit this and maybe I should re-record it and I could do this better. I can make that transition, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, done is fun. Don't stress yourself out any more than you need to. Remember, Jenny, we're resting. We are resting right now. And so I submitted it. And it's literally my shitty first draft of recording, right? This is my shitty first draft of recording. And all of my other submissions, I have edited and I've added cute little things. And it's like, nope, I don't care about any of it. I'm resting. I'm giving myself permission to be average. And we'll see what happens. But if you want to watch the video of my dream and my shitty first draft, that's in the Sacred Intuition Society YouTube. It's Ding Dong, the dream, a dream and a song. Ding dong, a dream and a song is the video. So you can just go watch me make a fool of myself there. So how we release this whole negative side. How we release this whole negative side. The very first practice is number one, just witnessing allowing. And we did that already. Look at the positive versus negative and notice where you are. Just right now, just with some of these conversations that we've been having, is there more in the negative column than the positive column? Is there more in the positive than the negative? Is it equal? And without judging or attaching or identifying or creating a story about what it means, just going, yep, this is where I am right now. Witnessing and allowing is the very first and best thing you can do when you feel the fear, the guilt, the shame, the anxiety start to creep in. A witness and allow, okay? And not attach, right? Not attach to it. That's one of the things I really love about Buddhism is this whole concept of non-attachment. And what attachment is identifying with the situation. When I was going through my very first depressive episode after I'd had my first baby, postpartum depression, I am trying to figure out how the hell to get out of this hole of hell, right? This hell hole. And I was reading a Deepak Chopra book, and he said in this book, I'm paraphrasing, that you are not depressed. You are experiencing depression. It's like when you have an orange and you're eating it, you're not the orange. You have an orange and you're experiencing the orange. And you'll experience that orange for as long as you're eating it and however long the yummy smell tastes on your fingers, tastes, however the yummy smell lasts on your fingers, and you can just smell that orange and remember the moment of eating it, but you're still only experiencing the orange. You are not the orange. And that blew my mind because I had been labeling and identifying with depression. I am depressed. And that just made the depression worse. So when I was able to step outside and witness the depression, is that this Jenny, this being Jenny that has this body, she is experiencing depression. But the part of me that existed before Jenny and will exist after Jenny lays down these physical robes for this earth walk, she does not experience, she is not depressed. She experiences, she witnesses, she allows. And when we try to stop, move, shift, fix, heal, change, what you resist persists, right? It's just like digging in, like this depression is just gonna dig in. And water doesn't dig in. Water goes, it takes the easiest route possible. And when it comes up against an obstacle, it's gonna go, instead of just like banging against the wall, it's gonna go, can I go under? Can I go around? Can I go over? Maybe I can go through. Or maybe, you know what, there's another path. Maybe I'm just going to go a different way. Water doesn't try. It just goes where it is the easiest. It just flows. And this is the energy we're trying to adopt just for this season, just for winter. How can I go with the flow? Least amount of resistance possible. Now, much water wears the stone, right? So eventually, that water is, if it just keeps flowing, it's going to create a groove in that stone, and that stone's going to get worn away, and it becomes easier and easier. But it's not trying, it's not forcing, it just is. So, witnessing is the very first thing, and trying to not judge yourself for it. That's the biggest one. If that's the only one that we worked on, we're winning. Now, there's a whole bunch of other tools and techniques that we have. Tapping is a really beautiful one where you just get to sit and tap and talk about what is going on, all of these emotions, and it's a way of expressing while moving through the emotion and the meridian points. If you've never done tapping and you would like a session, let me know. I'm currently offering all my sessions in trade right now. So tapping is a really beautiful one. Journaling, stream of conscious, another flow metaphor here. So just putting the pen to paper and allowing whatever's coming to you out with a couple of rules here. You're not going to go back and read this. No one's going to go back and read this. In fact, I highly encourage you to rip it up and throw it away or burn it or, flush it down the toilet, just maybe in smaller pieces. For the water element, maybe burn it and the ashes go down the toilet. However you want to incorporate water in this one. But stream of conscious is the flow here, allowing whatever's in your mind and heart and like flying around out here to just flow on this paper without judgment, just being radically honest with where you are right now. So stream of conscious writing is really, really powerful. Um, okay, so witnessing it, tapping, stream of conscious writing. Um, Oh, this is one of my favorites. And Josie, you taught me this one. Josie, if you don't mind me sharing, is you schedule time to cry, right?
Yes, I do some.
I love it. Scheduling time to cry, giving yourself permission to cry. And one of the ways that I really love doing this is I have a few movies that always get me. And so I'll put those on and I will just give myself permission to just surrender to the emotion as it comes. And usually it has nothing to do with the characters or the storyline, but it just is what bubbles up in me. And I just give myself permission to cry. And it feels so good. Oh, that's a really, really good one. Is just that permission, energy to cry. Schedule it in if you need to.
So
Have a
I,
playlist of music that makes you cry, or movies that make you cry, or whatever it is. Sometimes drumming, if I can get drummed the certain way, it just like with certain drums. What are the movies? Okay, Encanto is always a good one for me. I don't know why that one always makes me cry. Any movie with a dog. It just instantly breaks my heart. And right now I'm watching stupid, sappy Hallmark romantic movies. And they're always really sad. And then it's really nice. I'm like, yesterday, you guys, I'm being fully transparent here. I watched Hot Frosty. So dumb and so good. And I totally cried. And I was like, this is so stupid. I love it so much. So yes, it was on Netflix and it's like, Frosty the snowman that comes alive, but this snowman was like chiseled and buff and hot. Yeah, so dumb and awesome. And if you guys have any movies or songs that are like, if you've got a playlist, and you want to share that, that's awesome. But giving yourself permission to cry. And I want to spend, I'm All Out of Fight by Pink. Oh, that is a good one. And All I Know So Far. That one's one of my ones that makes me cry too, by Pink. I love that we all kind of have some of the same ones. Um, Okay, so I want to also do a little bit of a visualization here. So go ahead and close your eyes and take a couple of nice connected breaths. Notice the sensations and tensions in your body. all of those negative emotions that you were tracking and tagging. And I want you to imagine, sense in whatever form shows up for you, whether you see it, feel it, hear it, know it, can taste it. Whatever way it shows up for you, know that that is exactly how it's supposed to be. Imagine that each of these negatives that you wrote down, that you tracked, that you sensed and witnessed and were aware of, is a part of you, an age, a stage, a situation. And this part of you is just asking to be witnessed, to be held, to be loved unconditionally, without trying to fix her and tell her she needs to do better, try harder, that she needs to fix it this way or that way, that she should, she ought, she needs. Just accepting her in that moment as she is and saying, I see you, I feel you, I know you, I am you, and I love you. Thank you for showing me a part of me that is ready to be received, witnessed, held, and loved. And if you would like to engage in dialogue with this part, that is a beautiful practice that you can ask her, what is going on? How do you feel? Where did this come from? Is it all mine? That's a really big one to ask. And then ask her if she does need anything from you. But know that that's not always the end goal, that sometimes just witnessing and allowing, holding her in that space and time as she is enough, because you are enough. Then I'm going to invite you to take your hands and place them on your body wherever you're feeling a little discomfort, a sensation that feels like this part is bringing up in you. And really hold that part of you, this space in your body. Imagine that from your hands and your arms, that there is this beautiful, loving vibration. I can see pink and green. And there's also this beautiful tone to it. But just allow whatever shows up for you, and just imagine that you are just infusing this part of your body that is having this sensation with so much love. Loka samista suki no bhavantu. Loka samista suki no bhavantu. I invite you to stay here for as long as feels good for you. And I invite you to revisit this practice anytime, to go through any of your negative emotions or thoughts or judgments. Just witness and allow and send love. We have a couple of minutes for questions. And I'm here for as long as you guys want, for as many questions as you have. I do have an offer that I would like to make. And again, just tune in. If it feels good for you, awesome. If not, awesome. Um, oh, and I don't have it up here. Um, Okay, well, so it's if you're not already a member of the Sacred Intuition Society, I would invite you to join us. It is $27 a month, or $288 a year, and you also get a session, a soul session with me, and a dream decoding session with Brittany, and in there we do daily meditations Monday through Friday, 5 a.m., daily tarot tune-ins, 9 o'clock. And then we have a whole bunch of courses, unlocking your inner oracle, dream decoding, journaling course, elemental one-on-one, how to actually move through all of these seasons and cycles, and energy healing 101. And we're adding to it all the time. So if that interests you, let me know. I can, I'll put in the chat actually the link for that. Um, every month we do a ceremony. We do a dream decoding every month, and we have other things that come out. So that's, if you want information about that, let me know. So now, questions. Any questions or comments? I'm here for as long as you guys want to stay. And you can just unmute yourself. You don't have to type in the chat.
Jenny, I just wanted to tell you thank you. That was so beautiful. That was amazing. I appreciate it. I'm walking through a lot right now, and words of wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, Lana. I see you. I love you.
Same for me. That went deep really quick. I'm trying not to sit here and bawl. So thank you.
And maybe another little permission. And from a really dumb movie, we watched Eight Crazy Nights. Adam Sandler. It's a cartoon, and it's Christmas, Hanukkah, hilarious. And there's this cute little Eleanor who says, "They say that people who allow themselves to cry whenever they need to cry are healthier than those who don't." And it really is true. Giving whatever emotions are showing up, if we give ourselves, and that's why I ask for everyone's camera to be on, is to practice in a safe container. It is safe for me to be seen in my emotions. It is safe for me to be seen in this vulnerability. And so when you feel like you need to cry, just let it flow. When you feel like you're mad, be like, "I'm so mad right now," and of course, boundaries, and don't like spew it on other people, but like allow yourself to feel. If you need to burp or fart, sneeze, like it is physically unhealthy, physiologically unhealthy for us to hold these things in. It's how our body processes and moves through emotion, energy in motion. So cry, girl. Just allow it. Allow the tears to fall, because as the tears fall, at least down to your mouth, they release hormones. If we swipe them away before they actually fall, our body doesn't completely process that full emotion.
Right. I just feel bad because my kids see me cry so much is the only thing. I don't feel bad for you guys to see me cry, but I just see me cry a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's seasons and cycles, Mom, and showing them it's okay to be human. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad sometimes. I love you, Mama.
I love you too.
Thank you. I love you, Erin.
I'm feeling some major emotions that when we get off, like I've got to have like full breakdown.
Okay, get to it. Do it. You don't have to stay. Go while you're feeling it, while you're in it. I love you.
I love you. Thank you for this. Have an amazing day.
You too.
Thank you, Jenny, for having us on. I'm just laughing my ass off at myself today because I saw your thing this morning and I'm like, yeah, I'm already signed up for the thing tonight. And then I was like, because this is me rushing through things, not even reading fully what's going on. And then I was like, oh, I would love to sign on with that. And then I'm like driving over to grandma's and I look at Josie's thing because I thought it was for tomorrow morning. And I was like, I saw Josie text and she's like, click the link, Ellie. And I clicked the link. I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing this right now. And I had to put it on mute at the time you were talking also, but it's like I had to stop into my husband's grandma's and take care of her, and she got sick in the night and all kinds like. So you're like talking about like resting and slowing down, and I'm like trying to like, be in the meeting, and I'm like doing all these things in her kitchen and stuff, and I'm like I am like the bad example right now, like. I, and so I want to apologize for kind of not being here for part of the first of it. And then I had to like, then my phone died while I was out there and I was driving home and like clicked on for the last half hour. But I really appreciate everything I did get to absorb and all of your teachings and all of your tools that you've given all of us and so much. And I wanted to ask you about because I remember ever since, like however long ago, like a year ago or something that you said to me or were saying that, you just need to let your tears fall and not wipe them away so that they can actually, do their magic work and process and stuff. And I think you also mentioned, like, was it you that was mentioning tears falling in different directions, meaning different things?
Mhm.
What's tears straight down the cheeks, like right down the middle of the eye?
Okay, so the middle of the eyes is the emotions that your body doesn't really know what they are. They just need to release emotions and they're just releasing them. The corners of your eyes, when tears fall out of the corners of your eyes, they're typically happy tears, right? Because we smile and the tears fall down. It's the middle of your eyes when they fall down along your chin, it's grief, sadness, sorrow. So allowing them to fall all the way at least down to you actually past your nose. It just has to be past your nose so that your nose can smell the scent. Because if you guys have ever done the water studies, and Ellie, you've that beautiful book, Water Codes, talks about how water has these different energies within it, and they've tested the different tiers and how they have different hormonal and chemical constituents within them. And so when we wipe them away, our nose doesn't get to smell it and it doesn't create this feedback loop of, oh, we actually let that emotion go. So it stays in your body, which is really gross. And Ellie, I just want to thank you for showing up when you could and know that that is enough. And that is perfect. And that's the whole thing I'm trying to like teach this season is that like, and it's okay to be late, right? Permission to say, actually, no, I don't, you said 9 to 10:30. Well, I'm going to get on at 9:30. Cool. Like good for you for listening to your body and what you needed, even though you were like a little stressed,
I
but you
was the
witnessed
I was
it.
the terrible example this morning. Just
But you just witnessed it and you're like, okay, yep, I'm seeing some places where I'm like, oh yeah, I could maybe practice this a little bit more. But today's the
yeah.
first day of the season. So like like you're starting out on a really good note. Like you're like, okay, we're slowing down. Yeah.
Slowing down.
Yeah.
Thank
Permission
you,
to be
Jenny.
late. Like I just where in the
Late and
world?
in and out and gone and back and
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who in the world has never been late to something? No one. There's no one that has a perfect record of being, I mean, that I know of anyway, that's always had a perfect record of being on time. There's just stuff that happens. So why are we holding ourselves to such high expectations? And it's like, no, it's okay. And instead of saying sorry, apologizing for being who you are and living in your existence, I like to teach people to when you feel the start to come on your lips, go, surprise. I'm here now, plot twist. And thank you for waiting. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for understanding, instead of sorry, apologizing for our existence, So
Thank
Beautiful.
you, Jenny.
Thank you for being here, Ellie. I love you.
I love you too.
I have a question. What's
Yes.
tonight? What's going on tonight for the solstice?
Tonight they have a collective a ceremony at the collective.
Oh,
And
okay.
so and I was like signed up yesterday and I was planning on it. And then when I saw Jenny's thing, I was like, oh, she's talking about the thing tonight at the collective. So that's just me being, but here's some promo for the collective. I don't even know who's hosting it tonight,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
they're doing it.
I
I'm sure
haven't
it's
heard.
Jasmine, maybe Barry.
Hmm.
I don't think Jerry's
Doing it.
going. I
Oh,
didn't know
really?
about it. So it's not on my calendar, and Jerry and I share a calendar. So I don't think he's
Oh,
putting it.
okay. Well, it's on my calendar.
Yay.
So I don't know who, it might just be Jasmine. I don't know who else.
Hmm.
But I know it's gonna be amazing. I love the equinox and the solstice things they
Right.
do at the collective.
Cool.
And I haven't been able to make it to the last two, so I'm like, I am going this weekend.
Good for you, babe.
Yay.
Yeah. Yay. Hopefully everybody's doing their own magical thing. For many, many years, the way that I always celebrated all the equinoxes and solstices is like I'm going for a hike to see what the weather is like in the canyons today. Like I am being outside and I'm going to just like observe the changes in nature because oftentimes up in the canyon it changes first. Like when it's when you go up when things are changing, here it's been fall up in the canyons or it's been winter up in the canyon. So it's always kind of like a fun little preview. Also just like quieting out all the sounds of the city and stuff. And I'm sad that I don't do it as much as I used to, but any sort of, ceremony at all. So thank you everybody for hearing my rant. I'm not apologizing. Thank you. My rant.
You're not the only
Quick
you're
learner,
not the only
Ellie.
one, Ellie.
No.
I was doing the same thing. I just barely like
Were
looked at
you?
a group text and I was like, oh, she has a Zoom call. I didn't even look at the time and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't know it was right now. So I already had stuff that I had to get done for Christmas and I was like, I like this is what the time was, but I was like, I wanted to listen to it as I was working. So thank you for being patient with me not being on. I was able to sit down for a second, but yeah, Christmas has been not as fast as normal. It's the first year that I'm doing it alone, so it's a little different this year. So I'm like, oh, okay, I have to do Christmas Eve and plan out everything and do all the presents myself, and so it's a little different.
Mm.
But I'm going to a sweat lodge today,
Ooh.
so yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna. And have you guys ever done one?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We did one together, actually.
Oh,
It was
really?
great. Huh?
Give me your tips. I've done it a couple times, but maybe you guys have some other things that you guys like to do to prepare.
Hydrate, coconut water, fruit.
Mhm.
Okay, I just ate an orange and I'm gonna get my electrolytes in and then I'll probably fast after breakfast. So
Yeah.
just do
Um,
some like bone broth and things and
yeah. So, Rachel, Rhea. I'm like, I
yeah,
don't
I
even
know.
know Rachel.
Where's Rachel? Yeah, well, that's my real name, and then I call myself Rhea.
I love it. So
Yeah.
your Vipassana, right? The equanimity, just focus on the breath. Um,
Hmm.
for me in a sweat lodge, sometimes breathing through the nose, I start to feel really claustrophobic. So I do the Sitali breathing, which is in and out through the curled tongue. It helps if you can feel it really cools your breath down.
Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, I was
So
like, that'd be good.
yeah. So the Satali breathing really helps. And just like going,
Yeah,
okay, I'm okay. I'm breathe this breath. I got this breath. I got this breath. I'm not dying. I'm
yeah,
alive. And then
yeah.
if you can, I like to lay down and get as close to the floor as possible
Okay,
because it's a
that's
lot
good.
cooler down there.
Yes.
But
Okay.
headband, I wear
Headband, that's great.
headband
Mhm.
so the water doesn't, keep like pouring in my eyes. Do you know if you're naked or swimsuit or
No, you have like something that's like loose, but
uh-huh.
not showing any body parts.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's
But I can wear
held.
like a tank. Yeah.
Yeah. a towel to wipe off the sweat and just, and it'll keep
Okay.
getting like soaked and stuff. But
Yeah.
those are
Okay.
the things that I do.
Thank you. Thanks. It's been a while since I've done it. So I'm like, I need to get a little refresher.
Yeah. But the
So
Vipassana training is hands down the best. Just this breath I'm
that's what I
witnessing.
felt. I was like, okay, and just the sensations and stuff, and just noticing and staying focused and not going into all the things in my mind. So the distractions.
Yay.
Okay.
And I want
Thank
to
you.
honor you, Rhea, for honoring your truth. So at the beginning, I was like, these are the suggestions, and I wrote them down,
Hmm.
and when
Hmm.
we practice having the video on, because it's safe for me to be seen,
Hmm.
and also take whatever you want and go, no, thanks, not for me.
Hmm.
Just
Thanks.
like the Buddha talks about, receiving gifts. Like if you don't receive the
Uh-huh.
gift, it stays with the person. And you were just like, actually, right
Yeah.
now, I'm not going to show my face, and that's okay. And
Yeah.
I honor, like, good job. Like, way
Yeah.
to honor you.
Yeah.
And
I'm
for
like,
me.
I don't have an issue showing my face. I just don't want to be distracting anybody because I'm going to be walking around and I had to honor myself because that's what I told myself I would do this morning. So
Yeah, and
and
that's winning.
this was the distraction, but not, I knew it was good. So I stayed on. I was like, I'm sure she's got something good. And I wanted to learn about you more and hear what you had to say. And it's stuff that I love to share, but like it's good to hear it from somebody else and what I actually need to. Hi, Ellie.
Love
It's
you,
what I
Abby.
actually need to implement more this year, like just because of the Vipassana retreat. Um, I recognize like I need to literally be like here inward. And you know how we couldn't look at each other and all of that. Like I'm practicing that in everything that I do. Like I'm noticing more of like when I'm trying to talk and when I'm trying to be like, oh, did you hear me? Or you know what I mean? Like instead of just like keeping my comments in that I'm like noticing when it's gonna help somebody or it's talking like me trying to talk at somebody
Mm,
or like in a yoga class when I'm outward focused and I'm like, oh, what are they doing? Or what does this look like? Or whatever. It's like more like, no, this is my practice and I'm coming here to stay here and just move my body and not worry about any other things outside of me. So that's been something. And then also like online and like what I'm sharing or, you know, how I'm, serving and giving my of myself. Like, is it self-focused to, like there's just a lot of things. So I think my word for 2025 is inward
mm,
to just continue that like practice.
yeah.
And so it's just like I had a women's retreat that I put on right before the Vipassana and it was called uh, Unbridled and we worked with horses.
Mm,
And it was like the journey into your inner sanctuary. And so it's just like learning to like where am I unbridled in my life and where do I actually need to be bridled because I'm out of control. And in Vipassana, it like showed me so much about where I need to be bridled. And like with my phone and distractions and scrolling and things like that. So I'm trying to be more mindful this year. So thank you for all of those things to help me stay, more focused inward. So
oh, thank you
yeah.
for sharing all of that, Rhea, and thank you for coming and being you and showing up how you need to.
Thank
Perfect.
you. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Rhea, I would just like to thank you for your words also. I needed to hear a lot of that. Thank you so much. I have made kind of a I don't know, a conscious awareness of something that's been interesting going through this Christmas season. I lost my father about a week ago,
I'm so
and or I
sorry.
apologize. His my brain is just duh, 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 duh. We
Mhm.
lost him on December 1st, and it was his funeral about a week ago. And my Christmas tree got put up, but it has nothing on it.
Mm.
And I used to be, we'll just say, very showy and artificial. And in my home, I would have three Christmas trees. all dressed to the nines, all the bows, all the tassels, all
And all
the
the stress
ornaments,
to get him
everything.
on,
Huh?
and all the stress to put him up.
Yeah. And so in this year, I look over to my beautiful little tiny pencil tree that just has lights on it. And I just started crying. And I said, that's what you've been through. You had these artificial things. I used to get my nails done. I used to dress up and try to have this appearance in front of everyone that everything was okay. And it really has been the stripping away of just down to bare what's me. I don't need the bows. I don't need the tinsel. I don't need anything. I just want to be bare tree me with my light shining. So thank
Mm,
you.
I love that. Thank you. I want to add to that because that actually is something that I learned in Vipassana too, is the stripping down and being like completely me and not showy. Like I had extensions, get my hair shorter if you notice, Jenny.
Yeah.
This is my real hair. I've had extensions for the last probably 12 years. And in Vipassana, I was able to sit with myself long enough to actually like start to like myself enough to be able to come home and like see myself in the mirror as just okay to be me and that I love me how I am. And I don't need to show anybody else like that I have long hair and this is like I am enough the way that I am. And I don't need to show anybody else that. So it was a big deal for me. It's a big deal for me to like take them out and just like claim myself as me.
Wow.
So yeah, and I'm sorry to hear about your dad. That was actually my birthday. This is the last day of our Vipassana retreat.
Mhm.
And I
Beautiful.
got to, yeah, it was like a rebirth and definitely a big day, it looks like for you as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to hear that. That's a beautiful reminder. I actually came home and my kids decorated my house. So I'm so grateful for that because I was like, I don't have it this year. So I have this beautiful decorated tree right there.
You.
And I didn't have to do it. But hopefully they'll come and put it down too. That'd be nice. I'm like, oh man, I know what work that takes. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, I love it. I know, just wow, so beautiful. And it just, Lana, my heart goes out to you. What such a beautiful gift in
Yeah.
the pain, that comes from that. And just holding you, sister, loving you so much.
Thank you. It actually has been the most beautiful gift I've ever received,
Mm.
honestly.
Mm,
And, I talk to my daddy almost every
mm.
single day in meditation, and
Oh,
he flies me around the cosmos, and we have
oh,
a
that's
very
awesome.
different relationship now. It's gorgeous and beautiful, and I just keep telling him thank you because of the healing that it has brought, the renewal, the understanding, and just the deep, intimate, close, compassionate relationship I have with death now and how beautiful it is.
Beautiful.
Thank you both for sharing too. Like I needed to hear all of what was just said and so much love to both of you. It's so beautiful to see you just shining authentically in yourself. And I'm working on getting to that too, where I don't need anything outside of me to help make me feel beautiful. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, God made us this way. So, you know, God knows what he's doing.
Mhm.
May as well love us because that's all we have. Literally, the
Yeah.
real stuff that we have is right here.
Yeah. Well, and I personally believe that we were made this way because God wanted to know what it was like to experience an existence as a Jenny. So
Mhm.
fully as a Jenny. So if I'm trying to be like somebody else, I'm denying God the experience of Jenny and how
I
Jenny would
love
show
that.
up this way. And one of the things I just didn't show up in class, but it is right now, is the be still and know that I am God. And we're so distracted and we're so busy and we have so much going on all the time that how rarely do we actually sit with ourselves and know I am God incarnate. And God wants to know what it's like to experience life as a Jenny. But if I'm so busy going and doing and trying to prove that I'm worthy of this existence when I already exist, I'm already worthy of it. I just get to receive it, accept it, and play with it. So I love that this is a beautiful awareness that is coming up for all of us. And trees, like my kids didn't want to do a tree this year. And I'm like, okay, and it's just like we're exploring new ways of doing things. And like, oh, there's been no stress about it. And it's been awesome, And so trying to maintain and hold that level of, okay, I'm just going to show up to the family parties as I am and not stress. If I get the food there, great. If I don't, okay, I can stop on the way and pick up something pre-made. And that's okay too. Or not. I can come empty-handed because I'm enough as I am. And so just giving ourselves permission to be average and rest when we need and no as a full sentence.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, I love you all.
Thank
If
you.
you have any other questions, just we all have access to me. We all know how to contact me. So just ask and reach out. I'm here for you and happy holidays.
Happy
Happy winter.
holidays. Happy
Please.
winter solstice. Yay.
Yeah,
Yes, winter solstice.
this.
Celebrate
We did
winter.
it. Love you.
Woo. Enjoy. Thanks for all the tips.